Guys, Rob from Georgia here with you, and I just wanted to shoot this quick little video to attach to the review that is about to unfold before you, because I forgot something really important. If things couldn't get more somber in the world that we live in right now, we've lost a great. That is, of course, Stuart Gordon. I just wanted to say how much I'm going to miss that guy, how much I love that guy and the work, man. Lovecraft fan, and maybe one of the best Edgar Allan Poe pieces being the Black Cat for Master of Horror with Jeffrey Combs is awesome stuff. But, man, just thinking about his work, you know, whether it's Reanimator, whether it's The Beyond or From Beyond, right? And, of course, my favorite, Dagon, right? Dude's gonna be missed, man. Born in 47, I think, so it makes about 73. Stuart Gordon, man, gonna miss you. Also, at the very end, I make a reference to something that I've recorded recently, and the first thing that came out of my mouth was for BodyBags. That's a mistake. It was actually for Bay of Blood. Just wanted to get that out of the way. Anyways, enjoy the review as it comes.
BodyBags, where horror lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you on your normal Wednesday night review. And I say normal because, again, I'm so used to doing these things beforehand. But with being locked down and everything else, doing it on a normal Wednesday and upload it. So, but I am your Wednesday night host for BodyBags. It is week 343. It is theme week. It is what we're calling sort of like a spoof week. So the movie I decided to run with, I'm not a big spoof person, to be honest. I'm not just, comedy's not my thing. I like my stuff to be really, really serious, dramatic, and tragic, and all that wonderful stuff. But you know, I do have an affinity for some comedy, and one being Abbott and Costello. So I thought I'd run with 1948's Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Probably their most memorable film, especially in one where they meet a few of the Universal monsters. And so I thought I'd just take a few minutes in a week that's going to be looking at quite a different set of unique spoof films. I thought I would pull up a classic. And so here it is, my Universal release. And it's really it's a nice release. It's just DVD, right? But I mean, it's got a really cool film commentary by one Gregory W. Mank. He's a film historian, man. I'm telling you, that thing is chock full of information. You know, anything about Bud Abbott and Lou Costello, and just the whole idea of the Universal Monster era coming to an end, and how I didn't realize this, but Abbott and Costello are sort of like the bridge effect from one era that is dying into a new era that is going to be unfolding. That is, of course, the age of atomic monsters and everything else in the 50s, right? So anyways, a really nice documentary on here as well. But yeah, so I've already mentioned our two leading stars, but man, this movie is full. You've got, of course, as I said, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello. Of course, Bud Abbott plays Chick, and Lou Costello, of course, is Wilbur, infamously, right? Lon Chaney Jr. will reprise his role as Lawrence Talbot. Bela Lugosi will play Dracula. Glenn Strange will actually play the monster. I think Boris Karloff declined the invite to play the monster, which is unfortunate, but Glenn Strange does an absolutely awesome role in this. And then two absolutely beautiful women will anchor the cast on with Lenore Aubert. I think she plays Sandra. She's sort of Dracula's sort of person that he uses to do the things that he's wanting to do. The word is escaping me. And then Jane Randolph is Joan, and she'll be an insurance inspector of sorts working for McDougal, who manages this Max's Horror and Wax Museum. But those two women, man, are beautiful. But Abbott and Costello. So this, their movies dealing with Universal monsters. This is the most memorable one. But they also will meet the Invisible Man. I think they will meet. Oh, geez. Well, they'll meet the creature from the Black Lagoon once, but as a live TV event of some sorts. And then, I can't. It's escaping me. I'm sorry. But they're gonna meet a few of the other Universal monsters in their own movies. Maybe the Invisible Man, the werewolf, maybe. It's not coming to me. But anyways, they'll have a handful, right? And this is really the bridge between one era and a new era that is about to unfold. And so getting into the plot a little bit, it is, one of the amazing things about this film is just how crazy or I guess complex is a weird word to use, but I mean, when you consider at the beginning of this film, we're introduced to Lawrence Talbot, who's calling from England. He's calling a railway station in Florida, and he's trying to get a hold of them because they're about to get a shipment of 2 coffins, one containing Dracula and the other containing Frankenstein. And of course, Dracula's up to no good. He's trying to revive the monster. And Lawrence Talbot is sort of at the front end of this, and he's trying his best to put a stop to this, right? So, of course, Wilbur and Chick, of course, work at the railway station. And so when, they start receiving this phone call, Wilbur's sort of like, whatever, okay, whatever. Well, from that point on, the crates will show up, and as a result of them opening up or damaging the crates, the local wax museum will get involved, and the guy's not too thrilled with this. He thinks they're damaged. Dracula will end up getting out, and he'll end up hypnotizing Wilbur, and it's just crazy. And then Dracula will get the monster. They'll get up to, we'll call it Dracula's castle, where they got a professor up there who's going to do a brain transplant of sorts. And this will involve, as funny as it seems, Wilbur. They're going to take Wilbur's brain and put it into the monster. So you go from this phone call in England to this railway station in Florida. You got this castle. You've got this wax museum, right? You also have this masquerade ball, which most of our characters will go to. And then you've got scenes that unfold out in the woods outside that involve everything from Dracula rehypnotizing Wilbur to, or Sandra trying to bite Wilbur, to a werewolf. They think Chick, because he's dressed as a werewolf, is actually trying to attack the wax museum owner. It's just all these crazy things are happening. And then eventually we end up back in the castle for the, as we head into the conclusion of all this craziness. And eventually, as they're escaping out of the castle, we'll be with Chick and Wilbur one more last time in a boat as they're rowing away from the inferno that is raging. And of course, I think Chick is the one who mentions, well, we finally got rid of them. They're done. They're all gone. They're all dead. And then suddenly the voice comes out of nowhere, and it's, of course, Vincent Price as the Invisible Man, sort of ending things off for us, which is great. And, of course, our 2 main characters jump off the boat into the water and start swimming. So, I mean, my thoughts on this. I absolutely love and adore Abbott Costello. And, in light of the news that we just recently heard where the writers of Freddy vs. Jason are looking to kind of revive interest in pushing that narrative forward with a new movie, it does beg the question, why does this not work today? It works so well as a bridge between 2 eras of filmmaking. And maybe it's just, I don't know, we don't have an Abbott Costello. Maybe it's just that we're not taking the chances we ought to take. There was at the beginning, I do believe that Lou Costello was initially a fan of this concept as early as 43, but by the time we get to 48, neither of them were too big of fans about doing this, and yet it ends up becoming a classic of sorts. And so, it just begs the question, how can we revive, those, the 80s as an era and some of the great franchises being Freddy and Jason and Michael and them. How can we revive that in such a way as not really in a spoof way? Because Abbott Costello, this film, When They Meet Frankenstein, it really does take itself seriously. I mean, it pays the greatest amount of homage to these Universal monster characters in the most awesome way. And so the trick is, I guess, with a Freddy and a Jason and a Michael and whatnot, is how do you treat them serious and yet create something like an Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein? It's just, it seems to be the impossible task, but man, that's where writers come in, and they got to write something, and then they got to be willing to take a chance and have the right characters and just the right story and just drive this thing. And then who knows? Maybe we can, I don't know, revive some real interest there instead of just kind of going back and remaking things over and over. So I think, right in the middle of our spoof week, I want to point to something that actually is a very serious film, because it takes its genre very serious in terms of the foundation it stands on in this whole era of Universal monsters. It takes it so serious, but then you got the comedy element of Abbott and Costello, which is just genius at times. I mean, the way Wilbur will react to Dracula coming up out of the coffin, or even to the monster when he's sitting on his lap. Just all the gags. I mean, they're classic stuff. And, and it's too bad that we can't see that today somehow, some way, when we're, moving way past that era of, I guess, coming out in the 80s, our own version of that Universal era. We had our great franchises of that decade that, bleed into the 90s and whatnot. And it's too bad that we weren't able to really, we got one film that attempted, and it just never seemed to go anywhere. And so I just wanted to talk for a few minutes about a film that if you have never seen, or maybe it's been just forever, I challenge you to just go back and check this out again. I mean, it is a film that, as a spoof, though, it does take itself extremely serious. And it is a movie that, in fact, I think in 2005, perhaps, the Library of Congress recognized and honored it. And so it is definitely a film that ought to be on our shelves and ought to be viewed. And what a great segue into things a little bit more horror, for those of us who have kids and stuff. Because this stuff is classic. This is, besides this and Scooby-Doo and other things, I mean, this stuff is just classic stuff. So, Abbott and Costello. Their journey, their beginning of the journey into the Universal monster little films that they'll be doing. What do you think of this movie? When's the last time you saw it? Drop a comment down below, and for those who have been commenting lately, thank you. Keep it up. I love interacting with people. We don't have enough interaction with these YouTube videos, seems like, anymore, or at least not as much as I'd like. So Abbott and Costello, continue to watch BodyBags throughout the week, and it's spoof week, theme week. Also, I just wanted to be a little selfish here. Check out BodyBags. We just recorded an epic show on Saturday night on the War of the Worlds, dealing with H.G. Wells' novel from 1898 all the way through the 2005 film. Man, what an epic. I don't know if this thing's going to be like 4 or 5 hours long, but man, what an epic show that's going to be. And any other Bay of Blood, these guys, Will and Glenn, are doing awesome. And they've got great things planned in the future as well. With that being said, I don't know if there's anything else for me to say right now at the moment. Just got to figure out what my next review is going to be. If you got an idea, drop it down. Hit the like button. And if you have never subbed, man. Enjoy BodyBags, man, especially in the midst of all this corona stuff, this virus. I hope everyone out there is staying safe. I hope anyone and everyone in the listening audience has not been touched by this virus. No one in my family has yet. I'm very thankful to God for that. And all my prayers and all my hopes go out to every single one of you. And with that, man, go Bills.